ACACIA présente What Time Is It, deuxième édition, avec 3 hommes de Dieu poussant ensemble pour bénir vos vies, avec comme host le pasteur Gilles Dongala de ACACIA Church à Manchester. Oui, à partir du 21 avril 2022, 3 orateurs du 21 au 24. Oui, 20 très nombreux thèmes de la convention Bâtir sur le fondement. Jeudi, à partir de 17h à 21h. Oui, guest comme invité l'évêque Exaucé Lungu de Luxembourg. Deuxième guest, nous avons l'apôtre Oliver Voilà de UK Londres. Nous serons tous ensemble pour élever le nom de Jésus. Adresse, suivez les adresses qui défilent sur les écrans à Manchester. Guest comme singer, nous avons Mamadou Nakikala, Yaemande Makambo, Sembola Loboko. Ne pas manquer un événement, 4 jours de puissance, de gloire dans la présence de Dieu, organisé par l'église apostolique Church of ACACIA à Manchester. Venez très nombreux, du 21 avril au 24 avril 2022, Manchester va bouger. 4 jours de puissance, 4 jours de gloire avec l'homme de Dieu, le pasteur Julien Dongala.
Hi guys, welcome to Red Flag Talk Show. I'm your host Jonathan Pepe. I come from the Church of ACACIA here based in Manchester. Now I happen to not be alone. I'm joined with the ACACIA leaders. I'm going to introduce you them quite shortly, but before, please, because we had some technical difficulties last time, so if you can just share with a friend, share with a friend to a friend, share with the family member to let them know that Red Flag is on, because we want to let's talk and we want to hear from what your comments are also this evening. For we have a special show for you guys today because this happens to be our second episode of Red Flag. Now we're joined with new faces today, so we got some new opinions regarding red flags, considering of Red Flag being a talk show where it is of Christ-centered. Now the purpose of it, that in hope that the relationship will be Christ-centered, that it will lead to marriage. Now, before we get to that stage, there's always 3 stages, I call it. So the first stage is the talking stage, which is where you're going to find a lot of red flags. The second stage is courting or dating, let's say. And the third stage is marriage, which we're fiancé leading into marriage. Now, because beginning of all things, everything starts at the beginning, just as also in the Bible. In the beginning of all things is the talking stage, where you get to know the other person that you're talking to. Now, there's certain things that come up and they are red flags. Last time we spoke on red flags, we heard the viewers' comment said red flag ne makambu, and red flag was completely on fire. So on today's talk show with me today, we are joined with a new face, which happens to be Hannah here to my right. How are you, Hannah?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So I believe you got some things to share with us today regarding red flag.
Absolutely, we'll just see how the show goes today.
Yeah, so particularly, just give me a red flag off the top of your head, one thing that strikes for you for a red flag.
Do you know what? You put me on the spot.
On the spot, is it?
You put me on the spot. I can't think on top of my head.
You can't think on top of your head. Okay, no worries. We'll find out more. So we've got Abigail here. So Abigail is joining us this evening. Last time, Jafet mentioned about the generation of the next gen. The next gen? Yeah. In particular, where they said the generation is washed. So Abigail is now here this evening to defend that next generation, because one thing we know, one person doesn't accumulate to the whole multitude. Yeah,
that's right.
And we're joined again with Sadif.
Hi there.
Sadif.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, thank you. And Jafet to our right.
Yeah.
And Megan. How are you, Megan?
I'm okay.
You okay? Yeah. So now, just off the comments from last time, guys, because one of the comments what I looked back on was that someone commented on how the fact that we didn't exploit or we didn't explain of where within the family home that men are kind of they're not raised up in a way to prepare themselves for marriage. Now we're going to hold on to that particularly, that that question, and we're going to develop it even more. So let's start our red flags here this evening. So we see in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve. Now, before anything, he had given Adam work. He had given Adam an instruction in order to cultivate and work the land in order to go to produce fruit. So in that aspect, before Eve came, Adam had work. Adam had an objective. Adam had an ambition to fulfill, to do certain things. So is it a red flag if the guy has no ambition or goals in the future? I'll leave it out there for you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's not a red flag.
I don't think, well, yes and no, but no, you can push that person to be ambitious as well.
But it's not your job to, is it?
Yeah.
No, but it's not your job to, but you can help. If you're building a foundation together, you and that person, you want to move forward together. So why not push that person as well? Like, if you push them, they can push you. Like, what's it called? Partnership. Yeah.
Partnership. No, so what you're saying to me is you get with somebody who has no ambitions. First of all, why would you want to be interested in somebody that has no ambitions to begin with?
It's not that I'm interested in someone with no ambition.
That's what he came with.
Yeah, obviously. Well, the thing is, not everyone's prepared in life. Like, nobody comes prepared in life. So you can't minimize someone just because he has no ambition. That's not really fair, is it?
No, but at the same time, say for example, you're with someone that doesn't have any ambitions to be successful in the future. How do you know that? Because everyone dates to marry. How do you know that in your marriage you're going to live in a stable home where your children will be stable and you will also be stable if your person has no ambition?
I absolutely agree with you, but then again, I feel like you can still push that person.
Go on.
No, if you put yourself in that position, let's say you wasn't ambitious and someone that you was with is ambitious, would you want them to leave you or to still be with you?
But the man is meant to lead anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he can push me, but I don't. As a woman, I don't want to push a man.
But in the 20th century, though, isn't that a bit? There's the equality in that.
Yeah, equality. That I'm not on that team.
We heard it here. She's not on the team.
I'm not on that team.
So yeah.
But sometimes God can actually send someone unprepared.
Sorry, say again.
God can send someone unprepared for you to sort of kind of like guide and shape.
Yeah, that is right. But me personally, I prefer a man who has ambition, because if he doesn't, when let's say you're making plans, he's looking at you, it might be intimidated. You know, some men are intimidated. Some of them will look at you like you're trying to control me by pushing me. Like, you're making me do something I don't want to do. Stuff like that. So it's kind of problematic. It depends.
I get what you're saying, but at least you know that you tried with that person. Obviously, if you can see that they don't want to help themselves, then fair enough. You don't have to continue the relationship. But I feel like ambition, sometimes it can grow in that person. That's what I think. I'm not saying that I will get with someone that isn't ambitious, because obviously I would, but if they come and they're not ambitious and I know that I have that capacity to push them because I want what's best for them, then why not?
So basically you're me saying like you are the canal in which that through you they will go off and then to go off and be ambitious.
Yeah, you could be a blessing to that person in disguise. You never know. God could have put you in that person's life for a reason, for you to guide them, and you will receive that blessing from God. It's not even that you're doing it because, oh yeah, I made that person. No.
What about if they have, they have something they're thinking about? Okay, I think in that case, all right. But if it's completely nothing, you just say, I'm here as a human being. I want to work.
Take it or leave it.
Like this.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't get
I
it.
don't want more for myself. I don't want more in my life. Like, I just want to marry you and stay at home, and that's it. They don't say, oh yeah. Because let's say like you can come to them and say, oh, I want to build a house in Kinshasa. And there's like, I was thinking of staying here in Manchester and doing nothing.
But then you never know.
No, I don't want to make investments.
But if let's say you do it, he may be inspired by what you're doing, and it may be a wake up call for him, because he can see that, oh, do you know what? Yeah, she's doing it. Why am I just sitting here just doing nothing? Maybe I should step up my game as well. You never know. Like, even if they were like, oh yeah, I don't want to do it, but then later on they could reflect on their life and be like, do you know what? Yeah, maybe it's time for me to step up. And you've basically paved that way for them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I actually want to go to Abigail and Sadif on this side, because they were the one who mentioned that it is a red flag. that if the person has no ambition. So Abigail, well, you like say ambition in terms of where he has no objectives of going to college, to uni, progressing in career, ambition, and that he needs a kick up the backside, let's say,
Yeah, no, because at the end of the day, in this modern day society, if you don't go to college, in anyone's mindset, you won't have the correct knowledge to know what you need in life and what you need to do in life.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, say for example me, I want to be up there. I want to have a stable income. I want to be able to provide for my family, regardless of if my husband cannot or he can. Like I want to be at that position where I can be like, okay, I'm comfortable in my own money and I don't want to depend on other people.
Okay.
If he feels as though he needs to depend on me, as Megan said, that my future husband is supposed to be the head of the family. I'm not supposed to be the head of the family. He's supposed to be the person that is looking after the children, like not looking after the children, but looking after the household and making sure that we are all in a correct environment. In society, in this modern day society, even with the older generation, they'll come to you, it's going to be a shame on us. Like, it's going to be like, okay, so you work for someone that's at a lower, I don't want to say class, but at a lower ability to you, and it's going to look kind of shameful.
Yeah.
So
now, here's the thing, Jafet, I want to go to you because obviously, so the guy, we heard that pros and cons about red flag being if the person has no ambition or not. Now, is it a red flag? Because obviously, God given Adam, go off for work, you have ambition, go off, do X, Y, Z, and O. Is it a red flag if just a woman expects you to do it all and for her to cross her arms?
No, because I'm sure there's many examples in the Bible that obviously, yes, there is a role that a man have to do. Yes, and there is also a role that the woman have to do. There's many examples in the Bible, like there's loads of it. So it's we both have to. This have to be balanced.
Yeah,
there's always have to be a balance there. So there's a role for a man in the house. There also is a role for a woman in the house too.
Okay, so each plays to their roles then. Okay, so let's say now we're at the talking stage, right? Everything's going sweet, right? You're talking, you're praying together, you're putting it in God's hands. Now it comes to the first date. Now, is it a red flag? Where are we getting? Where is this going? No, because Jafet mentioned about each playing their own role.
yeah.
So now, is it a red flag if the guy offers to go half?
No,
not
for me.
No.
I feel like for me,
It
in my
depends.
generation,
It depends.
in my
Because we
generation,
mentioned about the role.
No, it depends.
No,
Because
it depends.
if it was her that asked me for a date, you're paying. I didn't say.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree because if you're inviting someone for a date, then you're obviously offering to pay. But then in your mindset, the other person as well, be prepared for the unexpected.
No, but this is new to me.
Unexpected.
I've not heard that.
Really?
So I've heard
No.
It's like somebody saying to you, "Oh, let's go have some." Like your friends, let's say, "Oh, let's go shopping. Let's go get some food," and then
I don't expect them to pay. I'll pay for myself.
you're paying for yourself, like you just said.
You're at home, mind your own business. Yeah, you're watching TV or whatever. Someone calls you like, "Oh, Megan, let me take you out." That's them like basically saying, "I want to take you out. I'm paying for it."
Yeah.
So if the person goes, "Let's go," that in my head I'm like, "All right, let me bring my money to you."
Yeah.
So,
If it's let's go, but if me, I'm not gonna ask you.
But on the date version.
On the date, like, if the guy asks you to go out, so if you ask the guy, "Let's go out on a date," would you pay or would you let him pay, even though you instigated it?
ooh,
Yeah, I'll still bring my own money.
I still pay you.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Actually, it depends if I like the person or not.
I'm like,
No, because with me, it's a thing where regardless of anywhere I go, I'd bring money to back myself
absolutely.
Because where's the card?
But is it a
what's
red
gonna
flag
happen
to
now?
you if he offers?
But then why
No.
are you expecting it? Why are you expecting it though?
I feel like
No, but why are you
So
expecting
okay,
it?
is it a red flag then
to
if
expect.
if the female doesn't offer to say okay, she doesn't even take
Yes.
a person and says,
To me,
I'll
no,
go.
to me,
I've got a rule.
To me, yeah.
I've got a rule. Okay. First date, I believe it's a man.
It's a man.
It's a man.
The
that
man
has
plays
to-
his role.
Yes, the man plays his role and be like, "Yo, The second time, third time, I'm not expect, but it'd be nice. If
You would look and just make sure to see if they do it.
Yeah. You know what? I'll get the drinks. That's all right, cool. She can handle herself too.
Okay.
Fourth time, maybe, okay, so pay, but then
Guys,
it'll be like, oh, do you know what? Let me take
I
you
do
out.
pay for people, by the way.
You know what it is, yeah? Do you know what I feel like now in this day and age? I feel like, especially women, with the expectations they have of men, they expect to be paid for all the time. You need to stop having that mindset.
Women come with
Look into the
money as
camera
well.
and say that, Tana.
Which camera am I looking at? Basically, no, in this day and age, I feel like women, they have these high expectations that men have to pay all the time. Like, you have to expect the unexpected. Sometimes you have to be prepared. Like, for me, I will not rely on a guy to pay for me all the time. It's just, I don't know, for me, it's not a good characteristic. Like, it's like you expect so much from that person, but you yourself, like...
They didn't even bring no money.
You know what I can say on that? You know what I can say on that? In my generation, let me say, it's the thing where girls are always like, I'm so independent, I'm a bad bee, Remember is that day? What are you doing? Like, you're saying, oh yeah, no, I can back myself, I can buy myself Gucci, I can buy myself
What that you use?
By the end of the day,
Wash.
But yeah, like they say, oh no, I can back myself and independent and this and that. But at the end of the day, you're not being independent on a date. You're now saying, okay, no, but if a man brings me out, he has to get me this, he has to get me that.
In the words, is it? But I feel like in the Bible, there's many examples where women actually going out to actually feed their families. There's many examples in the Bible. It's in Proverbs.
So now, just talking about that independence of women being independent.
Yeah.
Is it intimidating for guys of talking to a girl who's independent?
No.
She carries herself. She does it her own.
It can be for some though.
It depends, because with me, so do you know how this society has an idea of men will move mountains for you?
Okay.
To me, if I'm outside doing work or whatever, and my wife sees me and she does nothing, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to move the mountain just myself. I want you to help me to move that mountain. I want to provide, not that I need to provide.
He's the head and I'm the neck.
No, I like that though. I like that. I really like that.
But
So
I think it's amazing.
It's not intimidating.
It can be to some men. It can be to
some.
some men because it's like, it just can be.
They feel like their masculinity is just...
Then you're insecure within yourself then.
That's what I'm saying.
It's his fault.
Yeah, then you're insecure within yourself.
But then again, it might not be his fault because he might have grew up in a family where there might have been certain things that were missing that made him now feel as though, okay, everyone has to depend on me. And then now that they're seeing someone else that's like, okay, no, I can back myself, they'll be like, oh, but
that's even good. That's something to be proud of. Like,
So some people might.
No, I absolutely understand, but I feel like then you're insecure within yourself. That means you're a bit threatened.
But like with the girls, for example, my girl best mate, she hates guys doing anything for her, only because she went through an experience where a guy said to her, "You wouldn't be who you are if it wasn't for me." So that's why I think being independent is amazing, especially for girls, especially. Because then you don't have to feel like you're this person because of him.
Yeah, and the guy doesn't have to he won't minimize you as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about family, family raising up children a certain type of way. Now, within our society, within our culture, not just our culture, the Africans, their culture, whatnot. So we're born within a family. Now, when we reach a certain age, our parents see, we're not getting married. They start looking, or aunties and uncles, the tantine, the uncles. She start looking left and right. As you push on here, start questioning and asking. So now they try to do this thing where they try to hook you up. The arrange.
Good night.
So listen, is it a red flag if he approaches you and says, okay, my auntie told me not to come speak to you?
Yes, because at the end of the day, why are you
being told?
Why are you forcing a relationship on a person? That's like at the end of the day, they might be going through things in private that you do not know of. That they are now saying, okay, I want to plan this myself, and then I'm going to allow myself to now get into a relationship.
But perhaps your auntie sees that you and you guys can work well together, but he's no way you guys are gonna cross paths.
You're not God. You're not God.
True,
You're not God.
But then what if that God has told that person or put it in that person to go and
It's not
Not
going
even
to
that.
happen.
If it's God's will, it will happen regardless.
Yeah.
So it's not a thing where it's like, oh yeah, no, it has to happen at that time and at that moment. Because they might have been, like, say for example, you might have met someone and you've walked past and they're like, okay, yeah, no, there's someone that I know of that might have shown interest and like you might think, okay, yeah, no, like they're cute, but not now. And then later on in the future, you might see them again and they've still got the same interest and they're like, oh wait, but I saw that person quite a bit ago and I had interest. It could then spark in the future. It doesn't just have to be now.
Yeah.
So is it a red flag?
Because why are you even accepting for your auntie to hook? You're actually saying yes, I'm gonna go.
No, you know, some of them are fresh.
They're saying you actually agreeing to but like no, have the courage yourself.
So have the courage yourself.
Yeah, because it's your life. It's your life. It's not hers. It's yours.
Even if God sent, at the same time, God give us free will to decide, innit?
Literally.
So I'm a decider. Really, God said yes.
What about Esther in the Bible? No.
Esther,
no. Esther and the king, right?
Esther and the king. Oh, she was brought to before the king
by the uncle, right?
Yeah.
He prepared her. He said, "Let me prepare you," because he was obviously the king was looking for a wife that was.
But the prepping bit, I feel like the parents have a responsibility to prep their own kids.
That's fine. Yeah. However, he brought her forward towards the king, and
so that's a way in a way like a setup. Then.
Yeah, they set him up, and then guess what? She saved her people.
I hear it, but it's like at the same time, if someone auntie came and said, here you go, and this girl is not even prepped or anything, then I can turn and say, no.
Obviously, So in that case.
If she's prepped, and I feel like parents have a responsibility.
There's that attraction, everything,
that woman, then, and if I look, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. But I'm not going to be like, yes, straight away. I'm going to see, test the waters.
Wasn't it like 6 months for the first? They did hardcore
prepping. Just on Esther, we're going to talk on it on episode 3. So because there's some red flags within Esther that we need to talk about. So I don't want to go dive. I don't want to dive too much into it. Okay. So let's just hold it up there. As we're still on family, guys. So Abraham, right, comes to a stage where Isaac is not growing up.
Yeah.
So he sends off his servants. He says, go off to a distant land and look for a wife for my son. Sends off his servants, says, okay, servants, go off and you will know the woman based on this. So go off and tell whoever woman is this and say, okay, our master Abraham has come in order for us to bring a wife for his son Isaac. Now listen to this red flag. Now Abraham was the father. Now the servants came and said, our master Abraham's the father, and the son who was going to get married to the wife was Isaac. Now, if Abraham had a bad reputation, if Abraham had a bad name, would that cause an effect in order for Isaac to be married to the daughter? So here's the red flag. Hannah, I see you shaking your head.
It's a problem.
Is the family's reputation, could that be a red flag?
Massive.
No.
Let's just bear in mind, guys, okay? Let's just bear in mind. Sensitive. It's a very sensitive topic. We're not going to make it personal or anything like this, but we're just going to go off. But can it be can a family be a red flag?
It can.
It's a hindrance.
No, do you know what? It can and it can't. I'm saying it can't because everyone is unique in their own individual way. Just because one person has one trait doesn't mean that it's going to inherit into someone else. I honestly think that everyone has their own unique way of living life and growing up, etc. But then again, it could be a red flag just because of
the environment they were brought into.
Yeah, but then you can't base it on that.
True.
You can't base it on that. That the person can change. Like, I do believe in people can change. They can look at their family experience as like a life lesson for them to better themselves when they build their own family. That's what I believe.
You just come over that,
That's how I believe. That's what I believe. But then it could be red flag because then that person may be so what's that word? In sync. In that
environment.
Yeah, environment. They don't realize it themselves. But then, like I said, people can change. Like, I do believe.
I think it's just the outside looking in. Like,
yeah.
Let's say, like, for example, like, I'll give myself as an example. I'm not going to use anyone, but like for me, for example, let's say my family had a bad reputation. For example, in the outside, everyone's always going to be like, "Oh, that boy who's from that family, their family's X, Y, and Z." But me, I'm different to how my dad was, or how my parents are. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. That's what
it can be. But like, you also have to look at the person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, is he actually what? He is them. Do you know what I mean? That's all.
But I feel like it's very harsh just to, generalize it on just because their family background, because their family is not going to be in your marriage or in your relationship.
Well, we get married inside the family.
Yeah, that's the point that I was going to make, because at the end of the day, say for example with my mom, if I brought someone to my mom and I was like, oh yeah, mom, there's this person that I want to marry and they're from this place. She's like,
absolutely. Of course.
Family, how is that like, and this, that, and it can dictate the blessing that they give for the marriage. And they might come to you and I'll be like, okay, I don't need to marry that person because of how I know their family is. And that can have an impact because it might
it's a sticky one. It is a sticky one.
The reputation, if they're known for like some crazy thing.
But it depends on the reputation they're known for.
If you took that reputation as known as, like, I'm not gonna say what, it could be X. And that's like there at a higher point. And then obviously if your daughter comes and say, oh, you know about one family, and your daughter comes, oh yeah, I got this guy and I would like to obviously get with him, this and the other. You know their family, they're known for this X. What do you do then?
Do you know what? Yeah, I can't even be one to judge because we've been through our highs and lows.
You have doubts in the back of your head, though.
No, absolutely. I would definitely have doubts, but then again, you would tell her to pray about it. If it's God's will, then God will bring you together, and He will change that person in His way.
True.
So it would have to be serious prayers, because
I think as well, if they're not willing to change, now let's say like their family, they're known for this certain type of characteristics, and then they're not willing to change those characteristics in order to better themselves. That's where I think,
Yeah, definitely. Then absolutely.
No, I'm not having that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So if you didn't say much there, considering family-wise, what's your intake? Is it a red flag? Is it not a red flag?
To me personally, I would say it is something to be cautious of. It isn't a red flag, but it can be a potential red flag, because what you've got to realize is whoever you surround yourself with, it's like in this life where if you hang around with fools, you're going to be a fool, for example.
Absolutely.
And if that family is known for X reason and you come into that family, your surroundings can dictate the person that you become, and it could divert you from the journey that you're supposed to be on. So it 110% depends on what that issue is.
So we got it 50-50 there. So it was pros and cons. Yes, it is a red flag, and no, it's not a red flag. So Leaf mentioned something there that if you walk with fool, you become a fool. Now, there's this thing within the scriptures where that just one bad fruit, it spoils the whole fruit basket. So, the friends that we associate with, can the friends... She already jumped. The next day, she already jumped. So, the friends that we associate with, can they be a red flag? So, let's say now, at the beginning of the conversation, okay, I'm friends with X, Y, Z, and O. Is it a red flag to you because of the friends of the person that they associate with?
Yes.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna want to hear from you.
Yes.
You know what the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33?
That's all
Yeah.
I've got.
Do not be
Repeat
misled.
again.
I said 1 Corinthians 15:33.
Yeah.
The Bible says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
If your friends are acting
Word was that? Bad company.
Yeah, if your friends, let's say all your friends cheat, I'm gonna look at you and say you're a cheater.
Yeah.
Because you no wait.
No, I mean,
But
that's a
oh my
strong.
God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say because
It's true.
you can.
No,
You can. Because you as your and you're sitting there like, oh yeah, you cheat, yeah, wow, that's great. You're not telling them stop what you're doing because it's not right.
What happened to changing those people? How about if you're in that group to change them?
Oh wait, no. No, he's got a point because there are certain people where, say for example, there are certain people in my generation that people call idiots because, say for example, if that person is cheated on them, they'll be like, oh no, but I love him. And then they'll go back and then they'll try and change the person. If they decide not to change, you have to go. But it could make a thing where in that person's eyes, okay, they've cheated, they've stuck by and they've now showed, okay, I don't care what you do. If you do not change, that's when I'm actually going to go.
Yeah.
And it can now put an impact on the person and be like, okay, yeah, no, like, what am I actually doing? This is someone that is going to be here for me through thick and thin, and I'm messing around. Why am I messing around? Let me actually focus and let me actually pursue this person. But at the same time, yeah.
So this is my input on this, right?
We're gonna chill and you're gonna marry him.
Exactly.
I've got three rules that I always follow in life, which is the first rule is OQP. Only quality people. Because what you've got to realize is with your friends, if let's say you're friends with somebody who does nothing, does bad things, X, Y, and Z, that person isn't going to push you to be the best version of yourself. And you can only do so much to try and support that person. In relations to what Megan said, in relations to if there's 15 friends who are all cheaters, that friend's going to be a cheater as well. No. Because that you can't dictate somebody's character or personality based off his surroundings. You should give them a chance. Don't judge.
Obviously, you're right. Don't judge. But didn't Pete? Who was it?
Go on. Yeah.
Paul and Thomas, no?
Okay.
Didn't they go separate ways?
Paul and Peter.
Paul and Peter went separate ways because they didn't agree with certain things. So if me, so you, my boy, no, me, I don't agree with my friend doing silly
X, Y,
things.
Z, and no.
I'm gonna tell her, listen, you don't tell me anymore. I don't want to hear it because I don't agree with it. Yeah. She can. If I say now, oh yeah, what happened? Yeah, you cheated. Oh, that's great. Then me as well. I'm agreeing with what she's doing. Do you get what I'm saying? So now, if I have that mentality of agreeing with what she's doing, what's to say that I won't do it?
Exactly. And not only that, you chilling with people that are like, oh yeah, nah, but I cheat, and it's not even that deep. Like obviously, he has to have options and whatever. When that say for example, your boy comes to you and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm in a serious relationship and I don't know what to do in a serious relationship. How do I handle this certain situation? They'll be like, I don't like, just go to the next thing, and they're like, go somewhere else. That's not the advice that you get from like the correct people. Because as Megan read from 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be misled. Bad company crooks good character.
No, so we need to be quite selective in the friends that we pick, because they are friends who are, let's say, godly, because obviously they want to lead us to the direction where it's going towards Christ. So we build a relationship with Christ even more. Now, there's this thing always where we know friends, we are born within our families, but we select and pick our friends. So we need to be quite cautious in the friends that we actually pick and choose, really. Yeah. Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
So
100%.
friends can be a red flag?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like imagine if you like, you know, you're interested in this person, and then how in our generation we call CRB check.
Yeah.
You do a few background checks.
Yeah.
And then they are known for X, Y, Z. It's kind of gonna put you off a little bit, but then again, we can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
So I'm 50-50. It can be, it cannot be, because I've been in a situation where I was chilling with people who were known for X, Y, Z, but I wasn't doing the X, Y, Z. I wasn't certainly agreeing on what they were doing, but like I always tell them, look, if you want to do it, that's up to you. But I believe it's wrong.
I have a question.
So
okay, jump in.
Because this is in my household as well. So let's say your wife, her friends are, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they go out every day and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's your wife. And then your wife now is chilling with them. And you know your wife's not like that. And then, you know, after time, you're seeing, this one, she did this and that. And your wife is like, yeah, so what? So what you're gonna
she's letting herself be.
It depends.
No, but like he said, him himself, his friends, and whatever. But then now, let's take it into a marriage. When you're dating someone, you're gonna marry that person. So that the person you're gonna marry. What if they're chilling with certain people, even when you're married, and they don't portray like a certain lifestyle or
that wife should be
wifely duties, just like being a good wife or being a good woman in general.
I mean,
how would you?
What I would do in that situation is, all I'd say is, like all our friends, it's like on a table. If you're on that table and they're not serving you respect, you leave that table and you build your own table with friends and families that you can relate with. You know what I mean? It's like with guys and girls having friends outside their relationship. It's perfectly normal, perfectly natural. But it's who you want to spend your time with when you're outside. Because like in this day and age, if someone does something, it's like crime, for example. If you do something and you get pulled for it or whatever happens, you're going to be guilty by association. And you don't want to put yourself in that predicament where it comes to they've done something, you knew they did that and you still entertained it. What does that say about you and your boundaries? Because my boundaries should not dictate their boundaries.
Okay, guys, just going off that, right? So obviously, friends in this day and age, they have a way of influencing us in the way how in the manner that we talk and whatnot. So I was questioned at work, actually. A topic came up on loose women, and we were from a distance in the cafe, and the question was, is it being selfish if you do not want kids?
Yes.
So hold on right there. So God giving an instruction to Adam and Eve, it says, be you fruitful and multiply.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So this is right.
Multiply.
It's an order.
So when the
Make some
objective
highlights in bold.
the two become one and multiply.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously you're at the stage now you are talking to the person. Now the conversation, obviously we converse and talk about certain things, we plan for the future, the objectives, we'll put in God within the mix and praying about it. And we get to a stage now, the question comes up about children. So is it a red flag for you if the other person doesn't want to have children in the future?
To me, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hannah's staying silent.
I have my ifs and buts, you know.
Because we're in a generation where, you know, because obviously...
I'm young.
No, it's not even. No. But you know, when it comes to the whole kid situation, it can be a very sensitive
subject.
Subject to some people. You don't know what that person's going through, or been through. So, to be honest, you need to lay back a bit. That person has to really open up to you, because some people, you don't know, they may be struggling, and that's why they probably say, "Oh yeah, no." But later on, then you'll understand why. Some people have certain illnesses that will stop them. I think it depends. So we can't just say it's a red flag because you don't know what that person's actually going through. They may have a good enough reason.
Sorry, just to go off our viewers here, Vanessa just mentioned saying yes, very, very selfish not to have any kids, and also red flag.
No, I think you need to understand where that person's coming from.
Okay, what if that person has no illness, no nothing?
Yeah, then obviously, that's what I said, it's 50-50. But I'm just looking at the reasonable side.
The reasonable side of it.
The other side, then I don't know, bro. Can't argue
It
with
is
that.
what it is.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, but I'm looking at the reasonable side. Then fair enough, because you need to really understand that person. Obviously, get to know them and understand why. They may not want to open up to you straight away, but they may have a reason behind. If they're just selfish because they just want to be selfish, then absolutely, that is a red flag. I do not disagree at all.
No, but I wrote down earlier. At the end of the day, in the Bible, in Psalms 127 verse 3. It says, children are a gift from the Lord and they are a reward from him. And on top of that, I had emphasized on, okay, they're a reward from him. In your current situation, God may have an anointing put on you. And that anointing that's been put on you, you might not see the effects of that on you yet, because it might have had to come into effect with your children. So therefore, you saying, oh no, I don't want kids, you're basically stopping God.
That's obviously that. I'm talking about the reasonable side. I'm not talking about just if they're selfish, and that's them. That part I can't even argue. But what you said, I completely agree. I'm talking about the reasonable
reason. Yet from stones, God can raise up children. For Abraham. Also, in Matthew 3, verse 10, the axe is already at the root of the tree, and every tree that does not produce good fruit, it gets cut off. So why are you not producing fruit?
I don't know. Why do you ask that person?
You need to get chopped off. Someone that doesn't want to produce fruit, you get chopped off.
Because even on top of your point, they may have a bad background in which they're like, oh no, I can't have kids because of this certain reason, that certain reason. But God works miracles at the end of the day. Like, you might have an illness in yourself, but God, at the end of the day, he might heal you, or you might think you've passed it on to your children, but your children have come up completely
of course.
And you, like, a person saying, oh no, I don't have kids because of the way my family was, I don't feel like I'm ready to have children, I don't have the right knowledge to have children. God provides people with knowledge. God provides people with an understanding.
Gen Z.
God can
She's not washed.
It's the minorities.
But yeah, like.
Sorry to cut you off there. So one of the viewers said, kids are a life commitment. Find the person that has the same views as you. And does God reward only come in the form of children?
No.
Obviously not. To answer your question, obviously God rewards us in different formats and things, but having a child is a reward, a blessing that comes from God. Okay, as we're just on the children topic, I wanted to say this for episode 3, but as we're on the children topic, I might as well just throw it in there. All right? So we've got about, let's say, 7 to 8 minutes. So this one's is a heavy one. I don't know if you want to take a deep breath.
Throw it.
Take a deep breath before that one. I see Sleepy scratching your head. All right?
This must be heavy then.
This is heavy. Because obviously, in the Bible, Mary and Joseph, you and I, we know the story. You thinking? You know the story?
Mary and Joseph. About the question that you're about to say.
Okay, so Mary and Joseph, it's considered as children. Child is involved, right? So Mary and Joseph are engaged to be wedded, to be as husband and wife. Now, Joseph now finds out that Mary's pregnant. In this day and age, you question, hold on, because she was a virgin. As it is, in order before you go enter into marriage, you're a virgin, and then you go get married, and the two become one, and that's where you commit sexual intercourse and to go to have a child. But now Mary is found to be pregnant, so Joseph thinks in the back of his head, in this day and age, it's like, brass. I did it. This girl cheated on me. Right. So now, my question is it a red flag if the person has a child?
Yes.
No.
No. Not in all circumstances. Because at the end
let before we get there.
So you was a bit quick with that. Too sharp. Yeah, too sharp.
So the person you're getting to talk to says, okay, look, I fell, I committed sexual immorality, and now that I found myself having a child. Yes, I've repented, and now I'm walking with God. But now I have a child, which is a blessing that comes from God. So is it a red flag if the person has a child? Sidif, let's go to you, because obviously you mentioned straight away.
Me personally, yeah, it's a red flag.
Okay.
It depends on how long they were together before they had said child. If it was, let's say, 6 years together and had a child, cool. But in this day and age, especially for my generation, they're popping kids left, right, and center like it's a present. So wow, no, it's like nowadays. Oh, there's an issue in a relationship, baby.
Christmas.
But that's what they're doing, and it's like, for me personally, I see it as females and males. We have a role to play, as you said before, right? The female's role is to select an appropriate person to mate with, as like insects do, right? And being with somebody or loving somebody isn't a hard thing, because we're taught on how to find the right person. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 to 8, love is kind, love is all these things. And you got to ask yourself, if you're with this person, is this person kind? Is this person judgmental? Does this person allow
But by
injustice?
them having a child, does that mean
Because that shows that they've made an incorrect choice.
People change. You're Lobi. Wait, you said that women's role is to select.
No, as insects, like, do you know how
I'm not insect.
Yeah. Wait,
I am made in God's image.
Amen.
Human.
But
Right.
and on top of that, at the end of the day, it's not a woman's choice to
It's
select.
not.
He who finds a wife, not she who finds a husband. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. So at the end of the day, it's not about a woman selecting. So that point.
No, but how?
When Adam met Eve, he said, "You are my wife." He told her what you are.
Yeah. So
let's not get off the
what?
topic. I'm saying the child is involved.
No.
Let's
It's
not.
not a red flag.
Let's
It's absolutely not.
It depends.
No,
It's not a red
Steve,
flag.
please.
So would you be with somebody who's got like 3 baby mamas in the stage of like 1 year?
If they have changed and they've repented, and they obviously, to be honest, we can't judge anyone for
Yeah,
their
repent. You
past.
can repent after the first mistake. But then if it's 2, 3,
Steve, stop this.
Yeah, and on top of that, you're going a bit too far, because you never know what. Like, say for example, you see someone, they've got 3 children. You're like, there may have been a situation in which they could not have had a choice in order to
okay,
something could have happened in order for them to now end up with the child, and like, oh no, because obviously it's a sentiment, abortion and stuff. Yeah. So it's a thing where you at first sight you're gonna think, oh no, like I can't be with this person because they've got a child. But at the end of the day, you do not know the backstory, because no one's gonna be comfortable enough to come to you and be like, oh yeah, this happened to me, and this is the reason why I got a child. You're just gonna see the children and be like, bon, I took that.
I'm saying it depends. Like,
But then that's his opinion. He obviously has
depends.
different morals and obviously different beliefs. That's his opinion. So we can't even not disagree. But
I'm not saying this straight away.
Yeah, no.
No.
Some of the stuff that you're
depends on
saying,
the circumstance.
I completely agree with you. But I just feel like you can't bring the kid into the situation.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can't.
I think for me it depends on the numbers. Like I think one
That's what I'm
for me
saying.
is like, alright, cool, like, but 3,
2, 3, yeah.
4,
You start to
5,
Yeah, but then
sorry.
No, but then you have to know.
Sorry.
So
Hey,
Jafet
sorry,
says
so-
it's the numbers thing.
So
What about the woman? Okay, I think when it's in a woman's perspective, I think it's a bit messy.
yeah,
Do you know, it's messy on both sides. It's messy on both sides. But let's say now he's had 5 kids with one woman, or 7 kids with one woman, and she died.
Yeah, then that's obviously
Okay.
that. You can't even. You can't.
That
you
one,
can't
yeah.
dispute with that.
That's a complete different scenario.
Yeah.
But
You know.
personally, I think, you know what? I'm going to say it now. You're the generation that can. Well, I'm ACACIA. Because me, personally,
finished.
you know how some people get mistreated as well from stepmoms and stuff like that. Not that I would, but you're strong in it. Like, but I personally, I couldn't hack.
Really?
So
Maybe 1,
Yeah, just
and it has to be 5, maybe not 10 years.
But you do know the age is going to go up.
And the
regardless.
mother is married.
Okay, no. The baby mama situation.
Baby mama needs to be married and not in the country.
Baby mama drama.
One of the because there the baby. If the baby mom is a calm baby mom, then it's cool.
At the
end of the day, it's a thing where if the baby mom is on bad terms with the dad, you going into that relationship,
whole lot of
the
Spain.
baby mom is going to give you. You are going to go home. You're going to go home crying to bed because that baby mom should be like, right, but he treated me better than you. She'll say all these different
and then
things.
The kid's going to get involved.
And make it into the kid's
why would she even be involved in your relationship?
Because that's the child's mother.
Yeah, no, yeah,
but
no, wait.
Sarah in the Bible did that.
Yeah, well, no, wait. But wait, the child.
She said Abraham.
No, but the child. Okay, let's say you're in a relationship with a guy and he's obviously got a kid with his ex. Their relationship with, their co-parenting relationship, for me personally, you shouldn't even be getting involved. They shouldn't even be involved in you. Yeah, that shouldn't even be. No, Megan, no. Megan, you're not understanding. You should not be involved in that co-parenting.
Yeah.
It's a hazard.
Yeah.
That's
hazard.
yeah.
Warning light.
Hazard, everything.
Yeah, that's a warning. Yeah, everything.
But here's my question: what if, say, for example, you and the baby's father, you guys have a Christian relationship, in which you guys have built it on a relationship with Christ. Say the baby mom is not a godly woman; it's a woman that is just, she's someone of the world, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna make problems. Like if he doesn't want me, I'm not gonna let him have anybody else. In that current situation, it will be a thing where you cannot run away from what this woman is doing.
Pray for that person.
Other than through prayer.
Pray for that person.
But in that current time, you cannot now be there and be like, oh yeah, you know what? Like that woman is always going to create problems until God has now decided, okay, I'm going to free you guys of this. You guys have prayed and I'm going to heal this woman. It's not always going to be an easy.
Well, what if she's there to test you? Because some people can come into your life to test you, to test your limit. And if you fall for it, you're finished.
And my sister said,
Send fire. Yeah? Alright. So we heard it is a red flag, it's not a red flag. So what message can you give to our viewers there today who the Gen Z, what's it called? Gen Z. What can you say to them in terms of so that the child they have does not become a red flag, let's say for instance, of keeping themselves set apart for God until they meet that right person that leads to marriage? What can you say to them at home as they're watching? Or even people our age who's not yet got a child and who are in the stage of talking stage in the hope of going to get married?
Let me just say, Gen Z, you guys are not washed, you need a bit of that. It's just a case of you guys, or even us, even me, I'm preaching to myself as well. We just need to obviously, every day we're learning, if we learn about the things of God, we're going in the right direction. So,
for that.
So that's literally it. That's all I can say. Just follow God, and then you get to the right destination.
The one thing I would say just at the back of that, the destination is more important than the speed.
Absolutely.
Take your time.
Yes, definitely. Going off that, honestly, combining what they said together, honestly, pray and just be prepared for the unexpected, because you never know what life can throw at you. You never know who could just come in your way and try and trigger you. So don't don't be easily influenced, but you have, it's hard. You need to know yourself.
You get in life you
need to know yourself.
Know yourself.
Yeah, you need to know yourself.
Don't be a sheep.
Yeah, don't do things that you're not going to be able to handle.
Yeah, you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are.
Absolutely.
And on top of all of that, know your self-worth and have self-love before you then go into a relationship.
Yes.
No, because if you now go into a relationship not knowing what you want for yourself, you are now not gonna have that comfortability to now be like, okay, you know, I'm with the right person. Because if you know, okay, I want a man that can treat me like this, not have everything that I want, but have a certain standard in which that can correlate to my own, then you'll know that you have to go into a relationship in a certain way, and then you're not going to feel as though, oh no, I need to strengthen my relationship. Okay, let me have a child, and then it'll bring us both closer together. No, you'll know, okay, there's a certain limit, let me leave. Because that's where you'll end up in this, like, that's where some people end up in the situation where they're like, okay, I'm in a relationship, I need to have a child in order for us to now come together. And that's where the child will now come into it. So you can have places where you can get yourself out of certain situations, or you can bring yourself to a situation and now know to step out. So that's why you can have self-love.
I was going to say, value doesn't beg, and faith does not worry. So calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
Submit yourself to God. Read James 4, please.
Yeah.
Really,
Calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
You know, God will give you what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Calm down, stay down.
God's timing.
Calm down.
God's timing is the best timing, honestly. And you'll know when it's God's timing because everything will just flow and it'll just merge naturally.
I pray for God's will in your life.
I was even about to say, if it's God's will, you know that it will happen because you'll still come back.
And for the guys, all I'm saying is, if you've got a kingdom, it only takes one clown to turn that into a circus. So be careful who you're associated with.
So your friends are
shade. So you can see with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So now we have come to the end of our talk show, Red Flag. And I want to thank you guys at home for tuning in. I would like you, please, if you can, go to our social media platform, ACACIA Youth Church. We're based here in Manchester, being led by Pastor Gilles Dongala. So we're based in Cheetham Hill. So if you are a youth, you do not have a place to go to gather, please come along. We're doing some great things being led by our pastor here in our church. And also, just on the top of that, we're going to have a Red Flag Talk Show live audience. Now, the date is going to be set. Please go to follow our social media platform so to keep up with our news and updates. We also do have a youth conference coming up on the 4th of June, also which will be hosted in our church. So we do invite you to all come along with that also. Just going off to end our Red Flag Talk Show, guys, please, at all times, it is put God first and keep a Christ-centered relationship, which in hope it will lead to marriage. So keep a watch out for the red flag. And once again, thank you, Venix TV, and also the Pastor Gilles Dongala. Take care, guys. Red flags out.
Bye.
Le met dans le Seigneur, Apostolic Church of Acacia presents What Time Is It, deuxième édition, avec 3 hommes de Dieu poussant ensemble pour bénir vos vies. Avec comme host le pasteur Gilles Dongala de Acacia Church à Manchester. Oui, à partir du 21 avril 2022, 3 orateurs du 21 au 24. Oui, 20 très nombreux thèmes de la convention Bâtir sur le fondement. Jeudi, à partir de 17h à 21h. Oui, guest comme invité l'évêque Exorcé Lungu de Luxembourg. Deuxième guest, nous avons l'apôtre Aluder Voilà de UK Londres. Ils seront tous ensemble pour élever le nom de Jésus. Adresse, suivez les adresses qui défilent sur les écrans à Manchester. Guest comme singer, nous avons Mamadina Kikala, Yaemande Makambo, Sembola Loboko. Ne pas manquer un événement, 4 jours de puissance, de gloire dans la présence de Dieu, organisé par l'église Apostolic Church of Acacia à Manchester. Venez très nombreux. Du 21 avril au 24 avril 2022, Manchester va bouger. 4 jours de puissance, 4 jours de gloire avec l'homme de Dieu, le pasteur Gilles Dongala Motonanjambe.